All right, let's look at number 10 now. For the function g defined above, where it's g of x equals ax squared plus 24, a is a constant and g of 4 equals 8. Question is asking, what is g of negative 4? So this function, g of x equals ax squared plus 24. What we want to do is evaluate this when x, instead of finding x, we want it when x equals negative 4. Right now, if we're to plug in negative 4 here, we wouldn't know what the value is because of this a. But thankfully, we can figure out that value of a. So what do we know so far? I don't know when x equals negative 4. I don't know my y value. But here's one thing I do know. I do know when x equals 4, I have a y value of 8. What this allows me to do now is instead of saying g of x, I could say, well, since g of x is the same thing as saying y, I could say 8 equals a and y equals 8 when x equals 4. And that's just for my given. And that's squared plus 24. I can now work this out to solve for a. So that's 8 equals, that's 16a plus 24. And that's minus 24 for both sides. We'll end up getting negative 16 equals 16a. Therefore, a now equals negative 1 after dividing both sides by 16. What that allows us to do now is to figure out when does x equal negative 4. So g of x, we'll just do actually g of negative 4. That equals, well, we know a is negative 1. And now we know x is negative 4. And we just got to work this out. So I'm going to do this in 2 steps. Negative 1. Negative 4 squared is positive 16. But now we do negative 1 times negative 16. And we now find out that g of negative 4, is equal to negative 16 plus 24. That would be 8. Give us an answer choice of A. And that kind of makes sense. This being a parabola, ax squared plus 24, it makes sense that has some symmetry there. Now we're looking at number 11 here. In the equation above, B and C represent the price per pound in dollars of beef and chicken respectively. And it represents the price X weeks after July 1st during last summer. So what was the price per pound of beef when it was equal to the price per pound of chicken? So there's kind of 2 parts here. They want to know what was the price per pound of beef. So in the end, we don't know what is the price per pound of beef. But we need to see at what time period. Well, at the time period when it was equal, the beef price, to the price per pound of chicken. So I just rewrote my equation here. B equals 2.35 plus 0.25x, and C equals 1.75 plus 0.40x. So they want to know at what time was it equal. So at what week value. So what is x essentially when both of these two are equal to each other. Okay, I've written the equation here. I just rewrote the 2.35 plus 0.25x, and I just set that equal to this other one, 1.75 plus 0.4x. So I want to know at what week value would these two prices be equal. So that being said, I should need to solve for x. That should be 2.35. Sorry, I get cut off a little bit. Perfect. Now, let's combine like variables. I'm going to subtract 1.75 from my right-hand side to my left-hand side. And that would give me a value of 0.60. And subtract 0.25x from 0.40. And that would give us a value of 0.15. Divide both sides by 0.15. That gives us an x value of 4. So what does that tell us? That says week 4, the value of beef was equal to the value of chicken. So the question is asking, hey, what was that price? So let's go back to, so what was that price for beef? Yeah. So let's go back to our B equation. B equals 2.35 plus 0.25 x, and then just plug in 4 for x. So that's 2.35 plus 1, which would give us an answer of 3.35, which would be answer choice of D. Now we're looking at number 12. A line in the xy plane passes through the origin and has a slope of 1/7. Which of the following points lies on the line? So what do we know about this? Just a standard Cartesian coordinate xy plane. So that means is your x is your horizontal axis and your y is your vertical axis. Nothing too difficult there. Now, there's this line and passes through the origin. Here is the origin, and so that's the line there. They want to know which of the points will lie on it if it has a slope of 1/7. So I'll just write my points here that we know. What is slope? That's a question we need to understand. Slope is kind of like your steepness of your linear function. In this case, or actually just in general with slope, it is the rise over the run. Or you may see it as this fancy thing called delta y over delta x. Delta just means change. What that means is my y values have a change in 1, while my x values have a change in 7. So how does that look for us here? If one of our points is 0, 0, that means our next point will be, well, our x's have to have a change of 7, and our y's have to have a change of 1. So 7, 1 is one of our points, and that's not our answer choice. B is close, but it's actually 1, 7, so that's reverse. What to do now? Well, when I've done these test prep sessions in the past, this is where people just stop, maybe freak out a little bit, and didn't know what to do. Well, a linear function just goes on for infinity, so let's just keep going. If my slope stays the same, and this has a change in 1, and this has a change in 7, well, this next part should have a change in 7 as well. And the same thing for here. They should have a change in 1. Since my slope is 1/7, has a change in 1 over a change in x, change in 1 over change in x. So that means one of our other points could be 14, 2, which is an answer choice. Looks like 12 would be the answer. Sorry, it looks like D would be the answer to number 12.